What up? I got Naskin here with me. This ain't a diss song, but yeah, you know what it is. I'm a cheesehead, y'all niggas cheese whiz. Pittsburgh Steelers, that's nothing. That Super Bowl ring, that's nothing. Pull up in your town when you see me, you know everything. Green and yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow. I put it down, representing for my team. I'm in green and yellow.
Twice in the first 5 weeks, Wes, the Packers have been on Thursday Night Football. Now, Monday Night Football. Packers-Lions at Lambeau Field. It's time for Final Thoughts. All right, Wes, what's at stake?
Mike, the NFC North, you don't get many opportunities like this. 3 straight games this early on, and the Packers could be 3-0 after Monday night. I mean, you look at the Detroit Lions, the way that they're playing right now. If you get victories over them and the likes of the Bears and the Vikings, with how tight this NFC looks right now, being in the driver's seat with your division is never a bad thing, especially come December.
Yeah, well, if the Packers win, they would be the only team in the division with only 1 loss at this stage. And I say what's at stake, Wes, is turning this division rivalry around. The Packers have not beaten the Detroit Lions since that season finale in 2016 to win the NFC North. The Lions have 4 straight victories in this series. They hadn't swept back-to-back season series from the Packers since the early 80s, and the last time the Lions won 5 in a row in this series was the 1950s. You don't want to make that kind of history. It's time to flip the page. Who's your guy and why, Wes?
Well, Mike, the Packers got really good news this week with Jamal Williams returning to practice and clearing the concussion protocol. So to have him back in this game would be potentially huge for them. But Aaron Jones, coming off a 4-touchdown, 182 total yard performance in Dallas, he was the reason why the Packers were able to control the tempo of that game and ultimately win it. If you can have any type of production now against the Detroit Lions, how far that's going to go for an offense that likely will be again without Davante Adams. Aaron Jones is at the peak of his powers, and right now he's showing he can handle a full workload when he needs to.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And my guy in this game is on the defensive side of the ball, and it's Jair Alexander. We all know he had a great interception, big play early on for the Packers against the Cowboys, but Amari Cooper had a big day against Alexander. He's not going to lose his swagger. He's not going to lose his confidence. It was a little bit of a rough day at the office for the young, up-and-coming cornerback. He's in line here to have a bounce-back game. I expect that on Monday night. Wes, I say the Packers win this game if they can prevent Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford from getting into a rhythm. Those 4 straight wins by Detroit in this series that I talked about earlier, Stafford has posted a 122 passer rating collectively over those 4 victories. The Lions have scored 30-plus points in all of those games. For me, this game comes down to not letting Stafford have another game like that.
Yeah, it's a great point, Mike. And for me, I look at this thing as the Green Bay Packers come out on top if they just continue to roll in the same direction in all 3 different phases. As much as was made about which receiver is going to step out with Davante Adams, it needed to be the entire unit, and they did that against the Dallas Cowboys. So whether or not it's Jimmy Graham on offense stepping up with a big play, or the Smith brothers on defense being able to come up and really rise to the occasion, or J.K. Scott coming through with a clutch punt, you need to have that kind of production again against this Detroit Lions team that I think has surprised a lot of people early this season.
All right, well, with that, we will sign off on this edition of Final Thoughts, but be sure to follow all of our coverage of the big Monday Night Football game on Packers.com and on all of your social media channels. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the ball game.
Oh yeah. Young Moolah, baby.